Hello, good my SC viewers. This is Satellite Media. If you are new to the channel, kindly like, share, subscribe, and please do not forget to hit the notification bell. Let's look at this big win, victory coming the way of NNAMDI Kanu. This time around coming from Kenya and reading from Daily Post. He said, Kenya High Court declares NNAMDI Kanu's rendition to Nigeria illegal, unlawful. He go for that to say that Justice E.C. Nwita of the High Court in Nairobi, Kenya, had declared the abduction, detention, and subsequent rendition to Nigeria of the Biafra nation agitator NNAMDI Kanu as illegal and unlawful. The judge held that the rendition carried out in June 2021 was a gross violation of the fundamental rights of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. In a 13-page judgment delivered on June 24, 2025, Justice Nwita held that the actions of both Kenyan and Nigerian governments amounted to gross violation of Kanu's fundamental human rights as protected by their respective constitutions. The court also awarded Kanu 10 million Kenyan shillings in compensatory damages against the Kenyan government for its role in the unlawful abduction and rendition. Justice Nwita said, having considered the pleadings and arguments by parties, the decision relied on the constitution and the law. I come to the following conclusions. First, the government of Kenya violated the constitution and Mr. NNAMDI Kanu's rights and fundamental freedoms. Having entered Kenya lawfully, he was subject to the protection offered by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and the government of Kenya had an obligation to uphold and protect his rights and fundamental freedom. Mr. NNAMDI Kanu was, however, abducted, kept in solitary confinement, tortured, and denied food and medication, a breach of basic rights. You go further to say that he was chained, humiliated, ridiculed, and held in contempt, and later forcefully removed from Kenya without following the law, in a violation of his rights and fundamental freedom, for which the government of Kenya is liable. Based on the above conditions, the court makes the following declarations and orders it considers appropriate. A declaration is hereby issued that the abduction of Mr. NNAMDI Kanu, holding him in incommunicado confinement, torturing him, and denying him food, water, medication, and other basic necessities was a violation of his rights and fundamental freedom. A declaration is hereby issued that the abduction and subsequent forcible removal of Mr. NNAMDI Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria was a violation of the laws of Kenya, his rights and fundamental freedom, including freedom of movement and security of the person guaranteed by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and therefore unconstitutional and illegal. An order for compensation is hereby issued, awarding Mr. NNAMDI Kanu general damages to 10 million Kenyan money against the Attorney General of Kenya on behalf of the government of Kenya for the violation of Mr. NNAMDI Kanu's constitutional rights and fundamental freedom. Meanwhile, the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, have lauded the judgment as landmark victory, saying it vindicated the group's long-standing position since what it described as the sham and fascisca trial of its leader in Nigeria. A statement signed by the Apple spokesman, Emapavo, read, the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, wish to formally announce a resounding judicial earthquake that has shaken the legal foundations of the fraudulent rendition of our leader, Onyendu Mazi NNAMDI Kanu. At this point, let me quickly say that what has come from Kenya is actually commendable. But from this point, let us take it from the point of law. First of all, the issue that has to do with self-determination. We are looking at Article 1, Subsection 2 of UN Charter that says that One of the main purposes of United Nations and thus the Security Council is to develop friendly international relations based on respect for principle of equal rights and self-determination. So it goes to show that actually, if somebody is talking about self-determination, the person is not wrong. The person have not offended any known law, both locally and internationally. As long as the person is doing within the ambits of the law, the person is not going about it through wanton destructions of lives and property. Let us equally look at Article 20 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights that states that all people have rights to existence and an unquestionable and inalienable right to self-determination. So you can clearly see that even both the African Charter and UN Charter protect anyone that is talking about self-determination. And I think that is what NNAMDI Kanu stands for. He stands for self-determination. Let us equally look at it vis-a-vis, or rather juxtaposing with the current Nigerian situation, because if you look at what is happening currently, you agree with me that there is serious level of insecurity in Nigeria, occasioned by the excesses, high-handedness on the part of Fulani military. And unfortunately, these were problems already solved by the Aburi Accord if Nigerian government was able to stand by its agreement at Aburi. Because looking at the issue of insecurity as it has to do with vulcanizing or rejigging our security architecture, perhaps to have security state police, you understand that it was already contained in the Aburi Accord that there was going to be state police. Even the military was to be decentralized. And of course, up to today, the problem of having state police, or rather why we do not have state police, the effect is still plaguing us. And you can clearly see that even recently, the federal government came up with the idea of forest guard as a way of solving the issue of Fulani host community clashes and the issue of Fulani military. So it's going to show that if Nigeria was able to stand by the agreement they reached at Aburi, all this issue of insecurity would have been a thing of the past, and perhaps the agitation for sovereign state of Biafra, Oduduwa nation, and any other person that may rise up tomorrow to seek for his own self-determination will not have arisen, because definitely all the misgivings, all the issues that make people disagree would have been resolved by the same Aburi Accord. But surprisingly, even as Gowon has told the whole world that his intention was not to go for the war, that the war was not his choice. No, I strongly disagree with him, because he had a choice. One, to abide by the Aburi Accord and avoid the war, or to disagree with the Aburi Accord, or rather to abandon the Aburi Accord and go for the war. I think he chose to abandon the Aburi Accord and went for the war. But the point I'm trying to make here is, the same Gowon that kicked against almost everything that came out of Aburi, after the whole issue, he went into breaking Nigeria into 12 states. And according to him, it was to bring government closer to the people. And these were already issues resolved in the Aburi Accord to equally show that he was actually playing to the gallery. And I think those were calculated attempts to even fragment the eastern region as a way of depleting their influence and power, as we have currently have a situation where even the old eastern region has seriously been depleted. Because in Nigeria today, we have about 36 states. Not about, we have 36 states. And if you look at the old eastern region, you find out that even people who have their origin for that part of Nigeria, some of them no longer accept that they are from that area, because the government has started using what I would call divide and rule by giving people a different identity. And of course, that is even giving us a serious issue today. Then looking at the issue of the Fulani military critically, as it has to do with insecurity, I think as a people, as a government, we must think out of the box. Thank God the current Director General of DSS, Odapada Ajayi, made it very clear recently that communities should be empowered to be the first line of defense in case of invasion. He cited 2 instances in the past in the north where 2 communities repel invaders, and up to date, they have not witnessed such invasion. It goes to show that it is the right approach. And again, Hence, the government, talking about federal government, is not willing to come about the issue of state police. They are talking about the issue that has to do with forest guard and advising states to recruit between 5,000 and between 2,000 and 5,000, depending on their financial capacity to pay. But I would say, to solve this issue once and for all, the federal government should invite UN, invite European Union, and canvass a supreme opinion if they are against secession, if they are against self-determination. Then let us go to the poll and see whether the government opinion is superior in terms of when the voting will actually take place. Because I understand that even recently we are seeing Mr. Smith, a British citizen, who have equally come out clearly to say they rigged the first election of Nigeria, talking about 1959 election. You begin to wonder, how can a colonial master hand over a fraudulent system to the people? Because the system they bequeathed to us, it becomes very clear that it was a fraudulent system. If a British citizen who played a pivotal role during the time of colonization of Nigeria and during the time we transited into our own republic, the election conducted, is not owning up that it was rigged. It goes to show that they actually came here to do a serious disservice to mankind. And again, what they will not allow to happen in their own place is what they brought upon us. Because I remember that when the Britain needed to exit the European Union, there were people who were against it, there were people who were in support of it, and it's natural. But at the end of the day, nobody was handed, nobody was arrested, nobody was intimidated, nobody was prosecuted. At the nick of time, we saw about 2 prime ministers of Britain resigning, but ultimately, the majority had their way and minority had their say, and today, Britain have exited European Union. We saw the other time when a Sunday will go to United Kingdom to submit letter regarding Oduduwa Nation, and the British High Commission here in Nigeria was advising him to join her with other Nigerians to move Nigeria forward. You begin to ask, when they needed to exit European Union, did anybody come to them to tell them to join her with other members of European Union countries to move European Union forward? Rather, they were given the freedom to determine what they wanted in terms of majority and minority, and today they already exited European Union. So in the same vein, I expect Britain as a government to realize that self-determination based on African Charter, based on UN Charter, have already given people the right, unquestionable right for that matter, talking about the one that has to do with African Charter, to determine whether they want to exit a country or not. The best bet is for the authorities to invite world bodies like UN, European Union, to come and determine how such issues should be addressed. Because if you go about the handling, arrest, intimidation we see currently in Nigeria, a situation where Mazana Dukali is on trial, even some other is in trial in Finland, you can clearly see that it have not deterred anybody from agitating, because since Samarapa's arrest, we have seen the lives of Ogen Kere, seen the lives of Dr. Ngozi Aragoze, Justin to fill the gap he left, Justin to take over the leadership of the struggle. So it goes to show that the best option for this on the government side is constructive engagement, to bring everybody on board and discuss the way forward. And of course, there's nothing wrong in deciding or having a conversation on how we can continue being together, if there's any need to continue being together, or if we should go our separate ways. I think it is high time we come on the table to determine and discuss it. The Waymaker. We are seeing a serious jubilation, celebration in the southeastern part of the country, across the length and breadth of Biafra land. And this is not far-fetched, because evidence coming from the court is already showing that NNAMDI Kanu never possessed any weapon of terrorism on him as at the time of arrest. And these are good people talking and celebrating. And we understand that the governors of the region are already regretting all the role they played against him. But let me get a reaction.
Thank you for having me on this channel this morning. I've said it several times without number that NNAMDI Kanu no commit no offense. And that's what has confirmed in the court, because there's no any ammunition that was being found under his possession. As I used to say that NNAMDI Kanu are not the problem of Nigeria. The problem of Nigeria are the Fulani headers. The problem of Nigeria are these old takers, the politicians who have taken the resources of this country to be their personal wealth. They are the problem of Nigeria. Come to look at this, Samuel Ekpan has been restricted not to communicate with Biafrans NNAMDI Kanu under the DSS. Killing has been going on in the southeast. Have you asked yourself what is causing the killing? I thought they said that if Samuel Ekpa is being if Samuel Ekpa is not more speaking with Biafra, killing will stop. Why is killing still everywhere? Why is the people from Enugu are shouting that they can no longer to find? So that's to tell you that all this energy Nigerian government is wasting in the NNAMDI Kanu as Samuel Ekpa is not needed. They should channel this energy on how to end Boko Haram. They should channel this energy on how to end this Fulani herdsmen. My people have been killing Benue. My people have been killing in Plateau. Yet Tinubu for the sound. As if Tinubu is not concerned. One of the reasons that we prefer the Southern candidate in 2023, some of us will split our vote for Peter Obi, some of us vote for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was because we want to end this Fulani feeling that they own Nigeria by going from one place to another to kill people, by inviting Fulani from different Africa to come Nigeria to come and take over Nigeria. Little did we know that Bola Ahmed Tinubu would deal with the water Buhari. As I speak to you now, the killing that is going on in my own region in Benue, in Middle Belt, in Benue, in Plateau, is Tinubu is not speaking. What is happening? Is Tinubu using all the Middle Belt to play politics? I will say we can no longer take it. Enough is enough. And that's why we are saying that NNAMDI Kanu commit no offense. Everything NNAMDI Kanu preached over 10 years ago, he was only voice in the wilderness, shouting, preaching this message about the agenda of Fulani, about them taking over Nigeria, Islamizing this country. And that is what is going on. Are they not killing in the Yoruba land? Are they not killing in the southeast? Are they not killing in the middle belt? They are killing everywhere. So if Nigeria were to be a country that value people, NNAMDI Kanu will have been valued and protected by armies, because he was the one against all. He came out to tell Nigeria to prepare ahead. NNAMDI Kanu was just like the case of Joseph. Joseph, when the king of Egypt dreams and he could not understand the dream, they called on Joseph to come and interpret. And Joseph interpreted the dream to Pharaoh and told you that this thing you saw 7 cows, fat one, and tiny cows. This is how it's going to be. They are going to be abundant 7 years. They are going to be farming in 7 years. What you will do, harvest all these things. Let's have it in storehouse. And what happened to the children in the land of Egypt? When they were farming in other places, the 7 years that the Egyptians used to gather food items with the help of Joseph's interpretation of dream was what saved the children of Egypt. To the extent that the people of Kenya, they moved to Egypt to go and secure, to go and survive. And that's what is happening in Nigeria today. Many Nigeria today are running from Nigeria, go to Europe, go to Ghana, to go countries that which not possible to go. I wish Nigeria government listened to NNAMDI Kanu. Remove sentiment of hatred against Igbos. And what this young man is saying about this Fulani, could it be? And we projected and they work fast, all these things will have not happened. Today, as I speak to you, Buhari confirmed me, the former president, that the Fulani men that are killing are not Nigerians. That they are Mali, Burkina Faso Fulani that came to Nigeria. But the question I want to ask you this morning is that how did these Fulani men come into Nigeria? Buhari and APC imported these people come. How did they import it? Buhari told Nigeria that if Jonathan forced himself in Nigeria in 2015, he's going to make his government ungovernable. And today, nobody is questioning Buhari. That statement you make, that statement is what we are facing today. That you can see this Fulani moving from one place to another. They are killing people, driving people. In my place in Benue, in Plateau, they kill people, they take over their land. Even the governor of Benue came to national news channel and told Nigeria that, oh, the Fulani that are killing my people, they are not Nigeria Fulani, they are Benue. Oswald, if they are not Nigeria Fulani, what are you waiting for to the president? Oh, the federal government did not give us access to hold gun. You will wait until they buy all your people. Is that what we are saying? So what am I saying in essence is that NNAMDI Kanu should be protected by all costs. We are believing that Justice Omotocho, as he has pleaded for NNAMDI Kanu, that he is sorry for delaying for 10 years for this job. That he's going to do all his possible best to bring justice for NNAMDI Kanu. And he's already working on it. Within 2 weeks, NNAMDI Kanu has appeared in court over to three times, and we promised that on the 8th of May that the judgment will come. So we are waiting on the 8th of May to see what they will do. But we know that they cannot do anything otherwise. But NNAMDI Kanu commit no offense. He commit no offense. That's why when Buhari government unleashed the hatred of Igbos, the hatred they have against Igbos on NNAMDI Kanu by declaring IPOB as a terrorist organization, a lot of us we stood and we condemned it. That act was unlawful, that act was condemnable. Even despite they are still trying all their possible means for the world to recognize IPOB as a terrorist. The world did not recognize IPOB as a terrorist. Tell me any world who believes that IPOB is a terrorist today. Nobody. It's only in Nigeria here they're making us to realize that IPOB is a terrorist. They are never. IPOB did not start under Buhari government. IPOB started under Jonathan. But what did Jonathan? Jonathan ignored them. They were going on with their flags. Oh, give us Biafra. We want to leave Nigeria. Of course, they have every right to agitate to leave Nigeria. After the Biafra war, the one called the Igbos come together. Let's form one Nigeria. No victor, no vanquish. But after the Biafra war, tell me any sensitive position that Igbos have ever held since after the Biafra war. They are not allowed them to rule. They say they are not good to be a president of Nigeria. The only thing they have to do, for Biafra, the only thing they have to do Biafra, thanks to Obasanjo, who in his own magnitude bring Igbo in to become a senior president during his time, and make Igbo man to be a president. But that one is enough. It was not enough. It wasn't enough. You could see that how Nigeria economy was flying like eagles under Obasanjo, because Obasanjo allowed the Igbos to be in the front lines of his economy. And Nigeria was moving fast. Nigeria was flying like eagles under Obasanjo to 2015, because Igbos were in the front of the economy. They were in the front of the economy. But the moment Buhari came, because of the hatred he had against the Igbos, and he sidelined the Igbos, he felt that Igbos are not good enough. He brought his people, the Fulani men, put them on the top position. They crumbled the economy of Nigeria. And today we are
the way because of my comment, I understand that the other time when Igbos, Biafra gathered in Latin Finland for the declaration of Biafra, of course it was done under the watchful eye of international media. Just like it said, the countries like United States of America, Britain, like world body like UN, European Union, didn't see IPOB as a terrorist organization. Could it be the reason IPOB is selling everywhere in the world, contrary to the position of the Nigerian government?
No, the truth of the matter is that the world knows what IPOB is fighting. IPOB is fighting. They want to go on their own, and every other country in the world you see today, many countries are also agitating. They want to go to Spain. They are part of Catalonia are saying they want to go on their own, go to other countries. So it's not a crime. Now that you don't allow them to rule, it's between Yoruba and the Hausa. They are ruling this country. Yoruba and Hausa seek this country. Because if you have never given me a time to rule, you cannot tell me I'm part of people that spoil the country. It has been from Yoruba to Hausa, from Hausa to Yoruba. You don't allow Igbo man to come and rule. That's why in 2023 we say, okay, since we have seen the best and the worst of Fulani and Hausa, we have seen the best and the worst of Yoruba, let's try and see what Igbo man can offer. And that's why you see that a lot of us, people from the middle belt, you see that Peter Obi won Nasarawa, Peter Obi win Plateau, Peter Obi win, he pulled a lot of weight in the middle belt. We were tired about the killings.
But you recall that the minister, foreign affairs minister of the foreign affairs minister of Russia was very emphatic the other time that going forward, countries of the world, you and European Union, should start respecting self-determination. And we know that once you talk about self-determination globally, the first thing that comes to mind is NNAMDI Kanu and Biafra.
Yeah, that's why we are saying that NNAMDI Kanu is, for me, is not doing anything wrong by fighting for Biafra for his people. You know, I keep saying it that NNAMDI Kanu is preaching the right message he's supposed to preach. We are prolonging the evil days in this country. The earlier you allow everybody to go, the earlier will be better for us. Igbo will be the Japan of Africa. Igbo will be the China of Africa now, if they allow Biafra to go. And it will be of a benefit to every other African country in the world. By holding Igbo, you are pinning them down. You say, oh, if we allow Igbo to grow, they will dominate. We are doing ourselves. These people are talented. These people are blessed by God. That's why you see Igbo man will have a shop near you. Before you know, you expand, they have 5 shops. You think, oh, how did he do it? It's not a magic. They were born by it. It's not juju. Juju know they do business. Oh, this man is a ritualist. You go carry juju for a land, come they do business. Go do your own juju. Leave it in by juju. These are people that are blessed. If you look at most of the countries that are doing well in the world, Igbos are in the front of their economy because they are gifted. They might not go to school, though. Most of them don't go to school. They do well more than professors. You see, Igbo boy, you know, go school. He cannot even write his name, but he's a millionaire. What is he selling? Many things. They know the brain is there. They are born with it. The Bible says you cannot cause whom God has blessed. I feel that the Igbos are blessed by God. Don't forget that their origin is from their Jews. You guys, so the reason Nigerians we are where we are now is because of the hatred against Igbos as a nation. Buhari did it. Now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which I think he will do different. He's almost doing the work because Bola Ahmed Tinubu is more or less Yoruba government. People can condemn a Buhari who is a military man. How can we not condemn Tinubu who is a civilian? Who said he's a Democrat? Who has run away from the dictatorship of Abacha? So all we are saying that if you want Nigeria to be better, bring Igbo back. Let Igbo be in the appeal of the economy of Nigeria, and you see Nigeria will rise up again. All these shenanigans, economy, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing. Look at the Minister of Power. Where he tell you, we have badge A, we have badge B. Minister of Power. Do you see the light? Nigeria are paying through their nose, but we don't see the light. As I speak to you now, yesterday he said Nigeria should be get ready because the tariff will be hiked again. Nigeria are paying through their nose, and that is what you get when you pay people who have nothing to offer in the place of authority. That's what you have.
Let me say very thank you for your time. This is a good place to let you go.
Thank you for having me.